Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. With massive matches in the VCT Americas last night, Sentinels will have to win tonight if they want any chance of qualifying for the playoffs, but they will also need other results to go their way. Everyone's been trying to figure out over the last 24 hours what are the tiebreak scenarios, what needs to happen for Sentinels and for the other teams to make this happen. We're going to try and break it all down today. Tarek's been giving it a go as well. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, this actually occurred just before yesterday's video went live, but while I was recording it, it hadn't yet occurred. But Team Secret did indeed take down DRX yesterday. I'm sure you guys are mentioning it in the comment section below. So yeah, DRX were pretty much outclassed here. Very impressive performance by Team Secret, and that keeps their hopes very much alive to make it all the way through. We'll have a look at the numbers here in a second, actually, because Team Secret now 4-4. Mega series victory for them. But yeah, Team Secret outclassed DRX, and this can happen, right, as teams get towards this kind of crunch time when they just don't perform quite as well. They expect to win everything, and at some point they don't. Maybe a little bit of complacency sets in, but honestly, this could be good for DRX, right? Bit of a wake-up call, because when you're winning everything, this is why I think with Fnatic as well, like the fact that they're able to keep up their performances is so impressive, but there must be some part of Fnatic that they win everything. They're like 8-0 in Europe. They must be taking their foot off the gas a little bit, right, you would think. And it is going to allow other teams in at some point. So DRX go down to Team Secret. Great performance from them. RB tried his best on game 2, but it wasn't going to happen. And a pretty clean 2-0. So, of course, doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things. DRX is still going to make it, but massive for Team Secret. Global Esports also got the job done on detonation as they needed to keep their dreams alive. Pretty comfortable 13-7, 13-6 in the end for the Global Esports. So they're going to give themselves a chance. They're 3-5. Team Secret, though, 4-4, so it's going to be tough, right, for Global Esports to make it. And RRQ now with that big win for Team Secret, but yeah, DRX 7-1 now, so yeah, 2 maps they lost, 14-4. I think anything could be good for DRX, because it'll give them a wake-up call to be like, alright, we're not absolutely unstoppable in this region, and come playoffs and come Tokyo, I'm sure they will be back on top form. Let's talk then about what happened in the Americas. There was this video that went live, actually, with TenZ doing the Hot Wings thing. I thought it was funny, really, because I believe that Psycho and Dephh were both spotted like walking around in the background of this video, so they must have recorded it a little while ago now. And there's actually Asu here in the background, which does raise the question as to whether he actually might be their sub. I don't know what's going on with Sentinels right now, but they shouldn't need a sub, you would think, unless TenZ gets unwell again or gets another finger infection, which seems to happen every other week at this point, unfortunately for him. But before we get to there, 100 Thieves Furia was a big game. Every game right now in and around that 4 map wins or 4 series wins kind of scenario is massively important. Furia as well, they were 4-3. 100 Thieves were 3-4. This was kind of like a must-win for 100 Thieves if they wanted to deliver something here, and they really did so. Asuna turned up massively on the game 2, big 1 versus 2 clutch room that we've just seen, and then it went game 3, and again, Asuna turned up big time on here, and then this massive thrifty round, this eco round that they pulled off here to win this 100 Thieves, got up 11-9, that got them over the line. Okay, there were still some 100 Thieves rounds where it was a bit suspect, but mostly 100 Thieves really came to play, and it was honestly kind of one of the first times I've actually seen that, right? 100 Thieves have been suspect so far this year. Lots of criticism leveled at Mike's, their coach, now that Sean Gares is gone, the way that he's preparing the team. But, you know, we know they've got a lot of potential in there. And this result against Furia was massive. And it's got to be said, despite the South American teams starting off super hot against North America in the first couple of weeks of these matches, it's turned around massively lately. And 100 Thieves and Evil Geniuses both showing exactly why. So a 2-1 result, 13-10 on Pearl for Furia. Then it was 13-7, 13-11 in the ends on that Haven for 100 Thieves to get over the line. Big game from Asuna as well, certainly in the game 3, but Cryo over the series was the standout. Complete jet diff here across the stage, and it's good to see that Cryo and Bang, the 2 players that I was really expecting to be the stars of this roster, finally playing at that level. So great result for 100 Thieves, and it does put Sentinels in even more tricky position, actually. We'll see how that goes in a second. And the other game was EG MIBR. Again, Sentinels would have maybe liked this to go a different way, especially with the final game that MIBR and 100 Thieves have to play being against each other, especially the way this went. EG, though, I mean, wow. Demon 1, what a player. Their entire team is looking not exactly unstoppable, and MIBR aren't particularly good, but the way they won this series was just absolutely emphatic. I mean, I'll share a moment right here, and I'll share Tarek's thoughts on what the tiebreaker situation is going to be, but man, EG, ever since they made this change for Demon 1, have been getting better and better, and they are looking deadly right now.
Regardless, though, EG are smoking right now. Team plays on point.
Flash available for FRZ here. It's going to be the Trailblazer instead.
What? Oh my god, dude. No way. Oh my god, bro. Just shit on. Oh, he's feeling it, dude. He's feeling it. That's GG. Oh my god, dude. He's so good. That guy came from open tryouts. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, I saw that post. Demon 1 can't go to Tokyo if they qualify. So if they qualify, BCJ would have to play because they can't make any roster changes for Tokyo. I'm pretty sure. Something to do with EG not adding him to the roster that he submitted for Tokyo and he wasn't on it. Oh, that would be something then. Okay. That's weird. That's weird if true. I'm gonna explain this the last time. For Sentinels to qualify, they need to win these next 2 games. Alongside, 100 Thieves needs to lose to MIBR. And that's it, actually. That's all that has to happen. With that happening, Sentinels will be 4-5. Furia will be 4-5. 100 Thieves will be 4-5. Sentinels will have head-to-head on both of those teams, and they will secure a spot. Another route of Sentinels making it through doesn't exist, actually. They need to win both, for sure.
Ethan individually has stepped up massively. His util has been great. He's hitting all his shots. I've been super impressed with him. We will get to what Tarek said there as well on the Sentinels tiebreakers, because it's not as simple as Tarek is making it out, from my understanding, and we'll get to that here in a second. But a 203G, and it wasn't just a 2. I mean, look at the numbers, man. 13-2 on Lotus, and then 13-5 on Fracture. It was not even competitive this series. So, awesome stuff for Evil Geniuses, and they play NRG, and this is where it gets really interesting, right? We look at the numbers here. NRG are 4-3, but they still have to play a very strong Evil Geniuses, and they play Loud, I think. So it's far from a guarantee that NRG will win one or both of those series. I mean, NRG could end 4-5. They could end 5-4. There's going to be a lot of tiebreakers here, right? I mean, look how competitive this is. 4-4, 4-4, 4-4, 4-3, 4-3. Like, there's a lot going on. And if Sentinels win their final 2 games against Crew and Furia, respectively, and they'll be pretty confident they can at least beat Furia now, based on what we saw from 100 Thieves. And Crew is an absolutely massive game tonight for their chances. And we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, the tiebreakers are going to be crazy here. And Evil Geniuses have turned up massively and are looking very strong here to make the qualifiers for the playoffs. So Tarek has been trying to do the calculations here on exactly what happens. My understanding is that in an ideal world for them, 100 Thieves lose to MIBR. There's 2 different ways they can make it. Either 100 Thieves beat MIBR, which they'd expect to do, or 100 Thieves lose to MIBR. So Sentinels, they've obviously got to win both their final 2 series. They've got to beat Furia and they've got to beat Crew today. If they can do that and get to 4-5, then they've got a chance. Now, ideally for Sentinels, they would tie with 100 Thieves at 4-5 for each, and therefore Sentinels would win the head-to-head. So they need to get into at least a 3-way head-to-head tiebreakers at 4-5, and then they need to win that tiebreaker between all of those teams, which is more difficult, but I think it's slightly more achievable if 100 Thieves lose to MIBR, but I don't think we can really bet on that happening at all right now, because MIBR, they're out of there, right? Maximum 3-6. They really have nothing to play for. 100 Thieves know that if they beat MIBR, they qualify guarantees, so I think 100 Thieves will get that series job done. So then that raises the question, if 100 Thieves do beat MIBR as expected to, can Sentinels still make it? The answer is they can, if things very much go their way. There's a few things that need to happen here that House Character has got into on the Reddit, and I believe this is accurate. So what it comes down to is they need Leviathan to win one of their last 2 series, because if Leviathan go 4-5 and find themselves in the 4-5 tiebreakers with Sentinels, Leviathan's record against these type of teams is way too good, and they will get through that tiebreaker. So they need Sentinels, Leviathan to get at least a 5 wins. So they've got to beat Loud or Cloud9, which is is going to be tough, but it can be done. They are a team that can do that. Maybe they'll beat Loud, maybe they'll beat Cloud9, who knows. But if they can, they get to 5, and they separate themselves from the 4-in-5 situation, which gives Sentinels a better chance. Then it's going to come down, though, to map differential. Now, it might come down to round differential. The issue is for Sentinels is that Evil Geniuses are +20 and Sentinels are -37. So, as I say, the only way this works is if EG lose to NRG, go 4-in-5, and then Sentinels can win like a, 3-way tiebreaker at 4-in-5 with Furia, for example. So if 100 Thieves were to win and go to 5-in-4, and EG were to lose to NRG, and Furia were to lose to Sentinels, there'd be a 3-way tiebreak between Sentinels, Furia, and Evil Geniuses, and only one of those 3 teams would make it, and that will come down to, first of all, a head-to-head if anyone has 2-0'd the other teams, which wouldn't have been the case, and then it comes down to map counts differential, where Sentinels need to win, and if it's tied on map count, then it will come down to round count. But the problem is that Sentinels are so far behind EG on round differential that they're probably not going to make up that difference. So it then comes down to map differential. Now, currently Sentinels are 6-11 and EG are 10-10. So this is where it comes down to the fact, fundamentally, that Sentinels need to win both of their games 2-0, and EG must get 2-0'd by NRG. So it's quite complicated, right? But you can imagine, let's say Sentinels goes 4-0 maps from now on, they'll be at 10-11. And if Evil Geniuses lose 2-0 to NRG, they'll be at 10-12. So in that scenario, and Fury would be 10-12 as well because Sentinels would 2-0 them, then Sentinels win the tiebreaker. So I think that is the most probable outcome here, is that EG lose to NRG 2-0, 100 Thieves beat MIBR to separate themselves from the discussion, Sentinels beat Furia and Crew 2-0, and then Sentinels win. The chances of this are in the very low single digits, you would imagine, and fundamentally, it comes down to tonight. It is possible for Sentinels to make it, but they need to 4-0 effectively their matches from now on, and they need other results to go their way, which are far from guaranteed. And of course, it really just begins with today, when they're going to take on Crew as the first. If they lose a map tonight, even if they win 2-1, if they lose a map, it's probably over. Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully I explained that well enough. It's quite tricky, all these tiebreaker scenarios. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.